Welcome to the start of my Mile Flying run through Pokemon Silver, the only Mile run I can cover that doesn't require me to cheat at this point. Or I haven't covered previously. But yeah. I'm not sure, well, I'm going to do the flying team. I mean, there's a lot of options, but I'm not sure how many of them I'm really going to like. You do have that Manticore thing I never really used in the, Crystal run I could bring back, I guess, when I was doing the Water run. So it'd give me some variety coverage, at least. I do like the idea of bringing in Hoppip somewhat, because I can use it with Sleep Powder or Leech Seed to be annoying, and Ladian can do some setup work, but overall I'm not sure how well they're going to be able to secure a spot on the team, because for the most part those are some pretty weak picks. Manticore doesn't have as much move right as I'd really like if I was going to use it as some sort of cover Pokemon. And there are better bug Pokemon than, Ladian they go with. I mean, sure, you can give Ladian something like, Ice Punch or Thunder Punch to be annoying, but is that really going to be enough to keep it around, Though I suppose if it's mostly serving the support role, it might be easier to put up with it not having that much attack power itself. It's just, I gotta get up to relatively decent levels to really make use of that support. But I suppose if I gave it Ice Punch, I could potentially throw it at Lance for a little bit. I don't think it'd last long, albeit Lance's attacks are largely going to be special with his first couple Pokemon, so I could potentially protect myself with one of the barriers there. But some of his Pokemon also use physical attacks. Yeah, isn't he always? But I suppose it's time for us to grab our Pokegear before we take off. Heck, I might want to go back in Crystal and talk to my mom again in that game, so I can set up a savings account, so when I die, at least I'll have some money I can go grab. Oh well, worry about that later. It's not too important at the moment. Though I do usually like having money being saved with her somewhat, despite the fact that it means I get annoying calls about how she spent my money on Pokédolls and items I don't care for. Ask you a favor. I have an acquaintance called Mr. Pokemon. He's finding weird things and raving about his great discoveries. Anyway, I just got an email from him saying that this time it's real, unlike all those other times it was fake. It's intriguing, but we're kinda busy. I don't have time to go look into his usual not discoveries, okay? So could you go look into it for us? I'll even give you a Pokemon for a partner. They're all rare Pokemon that we just found. In fact, they're so rare, there's only one in existence. Honestly, it doesn't really matter here. I could see the value of taking, Cyndaquil in order to be a jerk to my rival even further, but I don't know, I'd rather have a temporary cutter on the team than anything else right now. After all, at least that means I'll use the starter for something other than, box space. Sure, it's a sad life when you're an HM slave that only has a small amount of utility in the start of, this game and start of the post-game content. After all, you still gotta cut down that tree in front of, that one gym, in Vermilion City with Lieutenant Surgeon, after all. So, yeah. We now have a dedicated cutter for when we get the HM for cutting. Oh, yeah. A potion. I don't really need that, though. I mean, yeah. It helps a little bit, but honestly, you're not going to waste your time using a potion on your rival when you have the convenient berry on hand. And since he's going to take Cyndaquil, I can just growl at it and then start beating the ever-loving tar out of it. So it should be relatively easy to win that fight. Okay. Centrate. Look like a Pokemon that if it has special ability, it'd probably be stealing stuff from people. I mean, that tail makes me think of raccoons, to be honest. Though I suppose some would argue it's a bit too long. And considering its name, I'm guessing it's meant to be based on ferrets more than anything else. I'm gonna end up using my berry before I even get to the first town. This Centrate's beating the crap out of me. It's dynamite, apparently. Or this is an inferior Chikorita. I'm gonna go with the crappy Chikorita. Well, at least I can pick up a new berry somewhere. And it's not like I have to worry about it. But Chikorita has a hard time in this region when it comes to gym leaders. Almost every gym you go to has a tactical advantage over you one way or another. Like, either super effective damage, or they resist your attacks. So yeah, making a grass team work in this area is just a pain in the butt. I'm told it's even worse in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, because then you run into the problem of a lot of your opponents just, screwing you over, because you don't get Body Slam early on anymore. Or I should say, as early on. And that's a move you really want to have access to when you're playing as like grass team, because you're like, I really could use that Body Slam. Chikorita, give it to me. Like, it's one of the few moves you have that's gonna be worth my time for most of encounters until I get to, Steel types, where you have to rely on something like Mud Slap, which is pretty awful, I have to admit, because Mud Slap is definitely not what I'd call a game-winning move, usually. I mean, it can help. I've definitely screwed over my opponents with it in the past. Blinding the ever-loving daylights out of them does help. But it doesn't do enough damage to really matter if you're trying to deal with a Steel Gym, unless you're gonna really jack up your attack stat. And be like, attack X, like 6 times, then you can start actually swiping them with the mud and doing enough damage to actually knock them out. And even with that, Steelix is still gonna be a pain. Ugh. That thing's got monstrous defenses. It just mocks you, I swear. Sadly, there aren't too many Steel type you can really find in the Johto region, though. And you can't even get a Steelix without trading for it. Ugh. I mean, I guess you got the Pineco evolves into Fortress, and you got Skarmory if you're playing Silver or Crystal. And outside of that, I don't think there's really anything else I can think of that doesn't require trading like Scizor. Ugh. It's just annoying. It's one of those types that they introduced to, nerf Psychics, but then there's not enough of them to really do that. And, quite frankly, the best Psychic in the game really still is going to be like Alakazam. They can learn Fire Punch and be like, oh, you resist Psychic attacks? Don't worry. Eat my fiery fist of death. And then proceeds to just murder them anyway. Well, the only one that resists that somewhat is Steelix, because like I said, it has monstrous defenses. So it can take a hit and then fire back with an Iron Tail. Though that's only so much salvation there, considering, you'll probably respond with either another Fire Punch if you survive, or bring in a revive item or something, and then get back up on its feet and then do it anyway. So yeah. I found it weird that we have an entire type introduced to nerf Psychics, but then give them options to basically get around those nerfings. Same thing with a lot of the Dark types. You can still nerf them relatively easily by using Ice Punch or something, unless you happen to deal with Houndoom. It's the only one that's actually legitimately scary. Houndoom does not mess around. Its Crunch attack is deadly powerful. Whatever, I don't really care about what you have to say about me, man. Can we just get on with it? I got better things to do today. Like, try and catch a nap before I gotta go to work. That's way more important than this lame Pokemon battle with 2 starters that barely know any moves. Oh, damn you, Chikorita. You're even slower than his Cyndaquil. Ugh. Such a disappointment. You're a disgrace to all Chikoritas. The RNG goddesses, they are cruel mistresses sometimes. Darn, even doing an extra growl didn't lower his attacks enough to matter. Well, I'll do it again. We're really relying on some berry power here. Hopefully that will jack his attack stat down enough to matter, but I'll hit him with another growl anyway. Ever lower your attack must go. Good thing he doesn't get a barrier, or he'd actually be able to win this. Alright, I have to pull out a potion. Okay. One more time. Though I honestly don't think I'm going to be able to drop his attack damage down to 1. And if I do, I'd be surprised. Oh, I did manage to get down to 1. It only took me 6 growls to do it, though. Of course, he could always undo that by leering at me. I'm surprised he's not pulling that out. I guess on the plus side, Okane here to congratulate me on using support techniques in order to eke out a victory. That was always a bit annoying, because it feels like he's chastising you. I can't believe you thought using a skill like Growl or Leer to know your opponent's stats. That's brilliant. Only a truly skilled trainer could have thought of that move. Well, I guess I'll make it a bit easier to try and catch a Pidgey or a Ladybug later. That's about the only plus to that. Sadly, since we're doing Silver, I won't have access to Butterfree early on, so there's always that disappointment. But you know what? I can live without Butterfree. It's a shame. Butterfree is one of my better Pokemon, you know, in the Mall Flying Run I've been working on in Leaf Green. And I honestly need to spend time working on the grind on that one so I can hit up Victory Road here sometime soon. Gonna have to hit my favorite grinding spot, I guess, and just spending a time on there later. Probably after work for a bit, then get back to some other projects. Yeah, I met a trainer like that. Well, we'll go with a fitting name. If I'm gonna be Zeus, King of the Gods, then this guy can be Hades. My brother that really would like to usurp me, but always fails at it. Terrible, huh? Oh, it was a Pokemon egg. Yeah, it is. I don't see what the great discovery part about this is, though. And the fact it introduces us to a whole new concept, Pokemon breeding. I suppose some would argue that's one of the best things you can play around with. You can try and edit Pokemon's moves and all kinds of stuff with it. So there is value to it. It's just, you know, it seems like a really weird way to introduce the mechanic, you know? But, you know, to each their own, I suppose. Thanks, those will come in handy. Of course, I'll need a lot more than, you know, what you just gave me to get a full team going. After all, there's some Pokemon that are really good at breaking out of balls. Unlike some others. Though Skarmory is always a pain to catch. I swear, that thing was born to drive you insane. I remember wasting like 20-some plus balls on it one time. Yeah, if you're not kidding, you gotta walk an awful lot. Well, I'll be stopping here for now. Till next time, then. See ya.